Henry Hub's about $4 per MMBTU, a little over four today, and European gas is over $13 per MMBTU. And when I put on my thinking cap and think back over my career, you know, pre shale gas revolution in the U.S., natural gas was quite high. I don't. It wasn't this high on a sustained basis in the U.S., but the whole thinking was, well, gas was almost like too premium of a fuel to burn in power plants. The thinking was that U.S. was going to be a LNG importer, have much higher gas costs, and the expectation was that coal was going to sort of reign supreme for some time in the U.S., given this higher gas price expectation a couple of decades ago. So I'm curious, with gas at relatively premium pricing, at least compared with the U.S., what's been happening within the power sector? Is gas use in the power sector increasing? Is it poised to increase? Can Europe do it all with renewables?
Gas-fired power will rebound to a certain extent in Europe, and that's because we will keep phasing out coal-fired plants. And like I explained in the beginning, because heating demand has increased, and that's weather-driven, and we don't have battery storage at scale or any other form of co-located system that could store renewable energy and fix the intermittency issues there. Yeah, I think gas demand for power, if anything, could increase this year versus last.
I mean, I think every time I'm in this call, I kind of have to explain the hurdles that these developers have faced because they keep recurring. And these peers have seen higher capital costs, higher development expenses over the last 2 to 3 years, just as they were ramping up their wind and solar additions, and that really constrained the leverage profile of these companies.
In the U.S. last year, they installed 50 gigawatts of new solar across the whole country. That represents a 20% increase over a year ago. That's the second year in a row of record installations. But you have to see where this is kind of coming from. Residential installations fell 30%. So that's kind of where you saw a lot of guidance cuts on the resi manufacturers, whether they're module manufacturers or inverter makers. But the utility side, they actually saw the inverse, a 33% gain in these installations. And that also represented another record.